What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to the show. This is a Thought and Talk podcast, and I am Aaron EBM. Welcome to the show. Get some stuff going right here. Get the sound going good. Before I get on, how y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing tonight? Hope you all are doing well. I'm doing all right. Not doing bad at all. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see what's going on. Stop that camera quick. All right, I don't know what's going on in here, but anyway, people messing with stuff in the room. Hope y'all doing all right again. Like I said, this is a Thought and Talk podcast, episode 18. Beautiful lies, and we're going to be talking about a little bit about this Kanye and Candace Owens thing. Is it a publicity stunt? Is Kanye going crazy? Or is he a mad or evil genius? What else am we going to talk about? We got the regular news. We got the political things we've been having been going through or been watching. Let's see, move this back over. Move this back over. So hope y'all all are doing good. Make sure that you guys hit that like button on your way in here. Because you know what, we could be doing anything. The people, your favorite YouTuber, your favorite broadcasters, podcasters could be doing anything, but they came here, to give you a show, to talk to you guys, and at least you can do is make sure you hit that like button for them. So, how's it been going? How's it been going? I have not. I need to get out and run tonight. I've taken the last couple of days off. I ain't, and I ain't feeling right. I ain't feeling too good about it. So I got to make sure that once I get off this stream, to go get my exercise in. I hope you guys are doing the same. Let's see. We might as well go ahead and get into some of these news stories I seen. We talk about a little bit about that. These passport bros. A little bit about what you guys think and what I feel about that too, since we're here. But in the meantime, let's get this thing started.
At this time, we're conducting a criminal investigation which is being videotaped by Broward Sheriff's Office for court presentation only. You understand that, sir?
I guess so. You got the motherfucking camera shining on me.
I'm going to ask you to try to do some physical performance tests. I will demonstrate them to you. When I feel you understand each of them, then I will ask you to perform them. Do you understand that, sir?
Yeah, I understand that too.
First is the balance test. You'll stand with both of your feet together, arms at your sides, sir.
I'm gonna tell you just like this. I'm gonna tell you just like this. I'm drunk. Yeah, I've been drinking, but I wasn't driving. The motherfucking officer, he saw a motherfucker jump in my lap, and I told her to get off, and she got off, and he stopped me.
Sir?
I'm guiding the car. Hey, I don't want to hear that shit. I don't even want to hear it. Hey,
Sir?
whatever you have to do, you do the motherfucking shit. The motherfucker, hey, he
Mr.
must
Turner.
she must be getting him some pussy or
Mr.
something.
Turner.
I don't even want to hear that shit. Hey.
Mr. Turner.
Where?
Are you going to do the physical performance test?
Well,
Ask you to.
I do the physical performance test, but like I said, I was drinking, but I wasn't motherfucking driving.
Sir?
The
You
motherfucker say what he want a
Are you
motherfucker
going
say.
to do the
Hey,
physical
you see
performance
what I
test?
say? Hey, you come up here and see what hey.
Mr. Turner.
Yeah.
Let's do the physical performance test, please.
What physical
Put both feet together.
Alright.
Toes together, sir. Both toes. Let's go. Both toes. Arms at your sides, head tilted back, and eyes closed. I'll tell you
Yeah.
when. Close your eyes, please. Keep them closed. Open your eyes, sir, and relax. Open your eyes, both of them, and please watch me for the next test. That's enough. That's finished. Next is the finger-to-nose test.
Alright.
You stand with both your feet together, your arms shoulder height, and sir,
Yeah.
watch me.
All right.
Index fingers only are extended. Tilt your head back and close your eyes. When I ask you to, are you watching me?
I'm
When I
watching you.
ask you
I'm
to,
watching you.
when I ask you you to, you bring the left arm out in front of you, the tip of your finger, touch the tip of your nose, and automatically extend it back out shoulder height. Same as with the right arm. Do you understand that, sir?
Yeah.
Would you put your feet together, please?
Yeah.
Arm shoulder height. Extend your index fingers only. No, sir. Put your head back and close your eyes.
You close your eyes.
Sir, I'm not doing the test.
But you close your motherfucking eyes.
Sir.
Huh?
Somebody come get your uncle. Let's get this stuff going. Messing with some of these features on here. Messing with some of these features. So, you guys, let me know if that audio is too loud. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So, so we're going to go ahead and get into this, man. Let me share the screen real quick because, like I said, this is Beautiful Lies. This episode is of the podcast is going to be Beautiful Lies, and today seems like it's been a rash of divorces. Divorce rumors out, and you got Tia, one of the twins, Tamara Mallory, and her husband getting divorced. You got Giselle and Tom Brady. The rumors of divorce with them. Let me see. And this is one that I did not did. I don't. This isn't divorce related, but it's one of the couples that we always hear about, and it is, man, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Make sure y'all can see that. I wanted to All right, so it said, Angelina Jolie filed a cross complaint against her ex-husband Brad Pitt on Tuesday, disclosing details about what she described in court papers as abusive behavior by him on a private plane back in 2016. Come on, guys, back in 2016, we're really gonna do that. We're really gonna go back to 2016 and talk about what somebody did. What somebody did way back then when you had ample time, to tell or whatever you had to do.
Okay.
That's this isn't that right there ain't even it's not surprising. That's what happens a lot of the time. A lot of times these women will go back and to make themselves look better, they'll say that they'll allege some kind of abuse, kind of like Johnny Depp and what he had going on with his ex. Jolie, let me see, said in a court filing in Los Angeles, filed as a part of a legal battle over the winery. The prominent Hollywood actors once owned together lawyers for Ms. Jolie stated that negotiations to sell or share the business to Mr. Pratt had broken down over his demand that she sign a non-disclosure agreement that would have contractually prohibited her from speaking outside of court about Brad Pitt's physical and emotional abuse of her and her children. Come on, man. This is Angelina Jolie. Y'all already know that if this was that bad, or if it was that bad between her and Brad Pitt, that she would have said something already. This with these high profile couples, I hate to even talk about them because it's so, they're so out of touch, and this all comes down to money. It all comes down to power. But this is a equal opportunity place now. Women aren't used to the way a lot of these judges are going about, with these proceedings, looking at it, as fair as they can be. Well, y'all already know that the system is already rigged against men. You already know that men are going to take the short end of the stick most of the time. But you're getting more and more judges that are being less biased. And that it's no difference here. That's what you're seeing with Angelina Jolie. This looks like a power play. I don't want to read all of this, but there's a picture of the winery. Come on, man. Y'all know this ain't got nothing to do with the abuse. She don't care about the abuse. It all has to do with what money can be made out for selling this property and splitting the property both ways. Come on, man. This is like these people are so out of the ordinary, or out away from what we even have to deal with. We wouldn't even know anything about this. Most of us wouldn't. But when it comes to money, when it comes to things like this, there's no telling what somebody can do. And it's just like all the other court procedures, all the other filings that happen against men and that we hear in these in media now. It's like you're Angelina Jolie. If something happened to you way back then, if something actually happened to you, what could actually stop you from, telling the world that he did this? I mean, the non-disclosure agreement came about. The non-disclosure agreement came about after the fact that they were already, divorced. So how all of a sudden, you know, that doesn't matter anymore. This it is. I mean, this stuff. You know how these people are. You know how these people are. Let me see. But you guys got to protect yourself. You guys got to really protect yourself from this kind of thing. Um, Most of us won't even know or even have an inkling of what these people go through, but doesn't mean you shouldn't protect yourself. Um, let me see. Guys, I talk to a lot of the men. I talked to a lot of the men lately in about being your own man, being your own person and not really taking what these a lot of these women in our lives, especially in the community, with taking it with a grain of salt. It's different. The aspect is different. I tell people that if you watch my content, you really understand that, or you should understand by now that everything that impacts the United States impacts the community 10 to 100 fold. So you have the over sexualization. That's happened of really because of this whole sexual liberation thing. It impacted the women of the community even a vastly had a vastly more negative impact on them than it actually had on the rest of the country. You can look at the stats. I don't have them here, but you can look at the stats and see what's happening. um you can look at the crime, the lawlessness, all of that stuff. You look at it together, you have to look at it, compile it up, and see that whatever happens in America, it impacts the community even more. And I will continue to say that because it's the truth. It's the truth. And I tell people that a lot of this things happen. We can say that it goes all the way back to slavery. People like to say slavery and use slavery as a I'll say it as a crutch to why they're not doing the things they want to do, or living the life that they are wanting to live now. So they use that as an excuse, as to why they're not living the lives that they actually want to live. So while using that, I don't believe in that. I believe that yes, things happen. Yes, things happen in such a way that it kind of steered the community in a place that it really didn't want to go. But there's always time to course correct. You and you alone are responsible for your own actions. You and you alone are the master and the ruler of your fate. Now some of us get dealt worse cards than others. I get that, but in the end of the day, we all have free will, and that free will can gives you the ability to control, to the best of your ability, what happens to you. I'm And a lot of what we're seeing is the matriarchal kind of the matriarchal institution, and what most black people live under in America now. It's the kind of the problem, and it won't really get any better until men step up, grab themselves up by the cojones, and really understand that they are the masters and the ruler of their own fate. But women have been placed in such a position, especially in the community, that they believe that they are the leaders. That's why I say you men have to realize that you are the ones that you vote for your own interest. You do the things that you want to or need to do and want to do. And let me see. Yeah. Okay. You do the things that you want to do the way you want to do and be the masters of your fate. And then if you want women to actually follow you, if you want women to I'll say be more submissive, that's the way you can kind of control that situation. In the end, they're the only ones that are going to be able to they're the only ones that are going to be able to actually be the ones that be submissive and be the one to follow. But you never want them to be able to go back and say that I'm not doing this or I'm not following, you here or there because the lack of your responsibility or the lack of your awareness. You don't want that. You don't want to be able to be, or you don't want to be in that position to where they can say that this is your fault for the reason, that this household isn't the way it needs to be, or it's your fault because we're not following you because of this. And you're going to have to break that cycle. You're never going to get anywhere until you break that cycle. And when I saw this, I didn't even see this when it actually happened, but I did see this. When did I see this? About a month or two ago. And let me see if I can get this up.
We done lost a vote. That's gonna go to Trump. God damn. I'm worshiping these people like they're God. Ain't nobody worshiping them. But God damn it, Chris, we need somebody in there with sense.
You mean we need somebody in there with some sense. You mean like this guy right here?
I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Okay.
He vote independent.
And the thing you need to say, I did that because I wanted to do that. I did that because I was a man. I did that because I have the right to vote, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to vote independent. I'd rather you go vote, independent. I'd rather you go vote and put your name down and vote for whatever you want to vote for instead of just doing what Big Mama tells you and voting down Democrat to only serve their purposes and their needs. Now, you guys have got to realize it's a point in time in a man's life, especially now, that you have to realize that what happens, or what does a man have to gain from voting Democrat down the line and not looking at it and not caring, just voting Democrat down the line because Big Mama or Big Shirley told you to. What do you have to gain from doing that anymore? And really, what did you have to gain from the beginning? The only reason you benefited from them voting Democrat is because you stayed under their household, and whatever amenities or whatever things they got, you got by default because you were under their roof. But as a man, what do you get just by doing that? You're not going to get anything, no matter what party it is, just by blindly giving them your vote anyway. Nothing's going to happen. And they're not going to take you seriously because they know they're not stupid. They've been studying this. They've been looking at the numbers. They've been doing this thing, pandering and doing this thing for 50, 60, 70 years. So now they know that the black people, in the most part, are married to this party, and they don't have to do anything. They don't have to do anything but come out, close to election time, pull out the hot sauce, tell their stories about how their great great grandma cooked them greens for Thanksgiving. And then, people will come and get comfortable. And like the brother Tariq said, get the butter biscuits and get the dancing and shuffling. And then, make you happy. And then you vote for them. And then you cry, 4 to 8 years later. But as men need to take hold by the take themselves by the reins and realize that they are the only ones that are going to have to dig themselves out. A lot of these women have already drawn a line in the sand and said that they're doing what they want to do for them, and they're going to continue to do what they want to do for them. And men just need to give, their blind loyalty to them so they can continue to run everything like they want to run, and we just sit back and shut up. Now, if you want to continue to do that, do it. That's okay. You can do what you want to do, but I ain't.
Nope.
I ain't doing it no more. And it's if you want to follow or you want to learn, cool. If you don't, you want to sit there and be comfortable with these women telling you that they're the most educated, they're the ones that need to run this country. You sit back and listen to Big Mama, and everything will be fine. And then when things happen to you, when you get hurt, or when you get assaulted out there, then they'll bring holler and scream. Of course, if it's the police, they're not going to holler and scream when it's one of the people that look like you. But they're going to put you in this trick bag. They're going to put you in this position, help put you in this position, and you're going to stay in that position, and until you feel like you're at the point to where you're tired and you're going to be done with it. But only you are, and you alone are going to be the one to tell, when you're tired of it, and hopefully you do so. Now let me see what else we got going on here. Speaking of good old Joe, let's pull this one up. Take that one off. All right. It says Joe Biden comments about Puerto Ricans have Twitter saying red. Joe Biden, it says, okay, President Biden was born in Scranton, Pennsylvania, where he was partially raised until his family moved to Newcastle, Delaware, where our current commander in chief spent the rest of his childhood, right? According to data, Scranton is over 71% white, with no households reporting speaking language other than English. Meanwhile, Newcastle's population is over 5,000, right? Over 5,000 people made up 67.5% white and 1.83% of people who identify as Hispanic. English was the primary language spoken at the homes of the latest respondents in Biden's hometown in the 2020 census. This data doesn't reflect a huge shift from when Biden was growing up. They said, despite these facts, the president of the United States spoke about his Puerto Rican roots during a visit to hurricane ravaged island this week. I was sort of raised in a Puerto Rican community at home. Politically, Biden told an audience on Monday. Biden also said, at one point, we have a very, in relative terms, a large Puerto Rican population in Delaware relative to our population. Let me see, population via New York Post. The Democrats' comments come hot on the heels of the First Lady Jill Biden comparing Hispanic people to in Texas to breakfast tacos this past July. I forgot all about that, y'all. I forgot all about when his wife went out of her way and said Hispanic people were like Mexican tacos. Everybody was upset about that right there. And it just goes to show you. I mean, you could talk about the other parties, you could talk about Trump, you could talk about everything you want to talk about, but come on, man. Let's be honest. We all know right now that Joe Biden is not competent. I don't know what Jill Biden is doing. I don't pay attention to Jill Biden. Kamala Harris she's out there Kamala Harrising, doing the things, saying the things she's talking about. She was one of the ones talking about the collard greens in North Carolina, telling people about all the stuff she's not doing. And it's for you guys. You guys are going to be the one shuffling at the end of the day. And it's for you. You guys are the one that need to really pay attention. Like I said before, I ain't paying attention to them no more. I'll let you guys do that. But really, how blatant can you be at this point? They don't believe you are competent enough. And that's the thing right there. That's something else that people got to get out of the get around or get out of the thought pattern of all people in the GOP, all people Republicans are racist, and then all Democrats are abolitionists and not racist and anti. And when that's totally not true. There are racist people, progressives. There are racist. Liberals, and there are racist. Conservatives. That has nothing. The political party has nothing to do with how someone feels about another race, how prejudiced they are, unprejudiced they are. These are the tropes that they put on people to help play those identity politics, and then put you in a position, a trick bag, to where who you are as a person. Your identity is now tied and tethered to a political party, and then you feel like you are actually letting your race down by doing anything outside of what the majority of the race is doing. Now, you could get, like I said, you could continue to do this, but when you get to a certain age, you have to realize that this is what the game is. This whole thing is a game. The whole thing is set up for in a way that it is, and it's been set up so long because people have been walking around blindfolded. People have been walking around blindfolded. And it's your responsibility. It's your responsibility to get out of that. Are you going to get? Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? Or are you just going to sit there being blind? Let me see. See that? Yeah. Say this also another news also another news article I seen on Biden's student loan forgiveness plan. They say it could cost $379 billion over 30 years, the education department said. Which, when you think about it in whole, it seems like a lot of money, but it's a lot of money compared to what they give in aid. I don't know. I hadn't done all the numbers, but you gotta wonder. And this is just me. This is my tinfoil hat thing. If and when this great economy tanks, I will bet money that they blame a lot of what happened on them, on the subsidies and the things that they are planning on giving out right now to people. Heaven forbid they ever give out reparations, because if they give out reparations, I don't know if they do it. They're going, and if something happens, they're going to make sure that they blame it on whatever they give to the minority. And when they do that, people will never want to vote for them doing it again. You guys got to keep your eyes open. None of this stuff, they don't give you any of this stuff for free. There's always something down the pipeline. There's always something. They just think you're too stupid to put two and two together and think about these things and ahead of time or long term. This is President Biden's one-time student loan forgiveness could cost $30 billion per year over the next decade, according to the U.S. Department of Education. The plan calls for forgiving $10,000 per federal student loan borrower and up to $20,000 for those who have Pell Grants. Despite some of the opposition to the plan, Biden remains committed to providing relief, the White House said this week. So, they're going to give out, they're going to do it. They're going to give this thing out. But, always skeptical about this stuff, What's up, Nicer? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. I guess I can stop for a second. If you guys are new to the channel, this is the Thought and Talk podcast, and I am your host, Aaron EBM. I appreciate you being here. We talk all things worldly, world news, politics, whatever you want to talk about, relationships, whatever I feel like and what you guys feel like talking about, we'll talk about. And today we're just going over a little bit of this world news, a little bit of this silliness that we see in media and the news. And despite the opposition to the plan, Biden remains committed to provide relief. That's what they said. And President Biden's order to cancel student loan debt for millions of Americans could cost an average of $30 billion over the next decade, a year over the next decade, according to the Biden administration. The 10-year cost will be roughly $305 billion, as measured by reduced cash flow into the government, according to Education Department. Over 30 years, that would be about $379 billion in today's dollars. The Congressional Budget Office has estimated plan will cost about $400 billion over 30 years. Said in addition, the cost of outstanding loans is set to increase by $20 billion per year. See, this isn't going anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. You guys got to realize, and you guys got to be smart. You're supposed to plan for the worst and hope for the best. If this happens, and if it happens the way they say it's going to happen, and you're going to plan, you need to plan for the worst. You don't know what's going to happen. You guys need to take, if it happens, you need to take this as a blessing. Use it, use it responsibly. Take that extra money that you do have from not having to pay. If it pays off your loan, great. Start saving that money. Start putting that money back. You were already paying it to the government every month, no matter what kind of, whether it was on some kind of whatever payment plan it was on, you were paying it back. So now you're getting a fresh start. Whether you agree with it or not, it's here, and if it happens the way they say it's going to happen, you need to take it, as a blessing and use that as a leg up. Now, you also have to look at it at the cost of what they're doing, as you see in this article right here. It's going to cost over $379 billion over the next 10 years. And of course, this is going to be used as if this economy, no matter what way this economy sways, if it sways in a negative direction, which most economists are saying it's going to sway in a negative direction, you guys better believe that they're going to use this against, that party. It's going to happen. It's going to be used against you guys, and you guys got to realize it. Let's see what you say. What does it say right here? You say, do not buy gold or silver. Get out of debt. Buy things that get you off the grid. Agree. Get a look what that got for you. Thank you for that comment, MY2 cent. I appreciate that. That's more the common sense thing that people need to do. You need to take that as a blessing, because it's not going to come, and it's not going to continue to come. The kind of attitude that gives, that's the bad thing about taking things from the government. When you get into the habit of taking things and getting relief. Now, I'm just not saying people don't need relief. Well, what happens all too often is people get used to getting that relief. People get used to the continuous bailouts. People get used to it over and over again. And what happens is you can become more and more complacent, and you become more and more reliant on the government. And that's what they want. They want you to be more reliant. They want you to have more, more faith in them, more trust in for you to be able to turn over your life, for you to be able to turn over more of your freedoms and liberties, and for them to help, do that. That's what these things do, and we talk about socialists. I don't have to be careful about talking about socialists and communists on here, but we're talking to educational purposes. This is not a radical live stream. But if you really look up the words socialist, look up the words communist, and you really think about it and think to yourself, what is the difference between socialist and communism? Socialists, they'll tell you that socialists want everybody to actually, own a piece of everything. Nothing is owned by the government. But if you look at the deep root of the definition of socialism, who controls what American or what person has that interest in that certain land or dividend? Who has control over that? It's the government. In communism, the government has ownership of that thing, of that land or of that property, and then they have have all of the control. So what is the difference between socialism and communism? Whatever the government feels that day. If the government feels like they don't want you owning that thing anymore, it can quickly turn it from socialism to communism. That's the thing people need to realize. People need to realize about words, and words really mattering, because they do. And just saying things because they make you feel good is not good, and that's what happens with a lot of with that progressive liberal party. I'm not saying that people don't need to be protected. I'm not saying that people don't need to be, helped. I'm saying is that the how big the governments are today, it's never black and white. It's never we're just going to help. It's we're going to help you, and then we're going to take control over you. Let me see. You got some more chats in here. I appreciate you coming in here and giving some input on this. It said, get off the electric grid, buy land, buy farm. Land is more valuable in tough times. I agree. And that often happens. That often is a point of argument when you talk to people about, especially with the Gen Zs and the millennials. Gen Z is not really wanting to buy land. Gen Z is wanting to rent. And I can say that if you want to rent, that is fine. If you're more of a person that's an entrepreneur, need to float around and don't need to be tethered down to a certain spot, that's cool. That's fine. But you guys can see, if you're renting right now, what actually happens when you don't own that land, or you're not in the process of owning that land. Rent skyrocket. You're costed out. What was $600, $700, $800 rent is now $1,200 rent. When you get into a mortgage that is fixed and not variable, that mortgage does not move. So if you're paying we don't have a gigantic house, so if let's just say if you're paying $800 for your mortgage is going to continue to be $800. Now your insurance, because of inflation in the rest of the world, your insurance might go up. Your homeowner's insurance might go up, your taxes might go up, but that initial mortgage will stay the same. You know, that's what people don't realize. That's the upside of owning a home. Now you are responsible for the upkeep of that home. You are responsible for all of that. That does come for you. But I would much rather like my expenses, my cash flow to stay as um solid as and as flat without those ups and downs than not. Then and that's what happens when you don't own your land. Get land. Somebody once told me that land is one of the most precious things that you can own, because that's the one thing on this small rock that they can't make more of. They can't make more earth. They can only, the earth is what it is. There will never be more land, so that land is precious. So why not own your slice of it? Let me see another one from my2cent. Appreciate it. The rich are the ones that make the money off the government. Poor people can't. The country will never be communist because the love of money. This country loves money, and it will never be a socialist. I agree with that. I agree. But it's a lot of people out there that want to push governments into, that socialist thing, because and a lot of this thing, we could say that a lot of people and a lot of women like the more of the progressive party, the more of the party that's going to be liberal, because that they get that protection. Women, for the most part, not all, but women for the most part don't want to compete. They don't want to compete, in the idea that everybody can get this even slice of the pie and they don't have to work any more harder than the next person is actually a feel good fantasy. This is the fantasy that's told. We can all have this great thing. We can all have this wonderful thing if we all just let the government come in and divvy everything out. But like you said, I don't believe that will happen. I believe that they will continue to peddle the idea that happening, making people believe that if they continue to give them their support, that will somewhat happen. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There is a lot of money in letting people buy homes, buy things they can't really afford, and to foreclose on them and get them repossessed and then resell what somebody has already paid 90% on. That is that whole foreclosure system, that whole repo system is built right into this actually money machine, just like prisons are making, sending people to prison and actually working in prison, and then the cycle continues. I say this all the time, and I know it's kind of dark, but if all of the prisoners were just let free, if everybody was just let free and there's nobody in prison anymore, what happens to the COs? What happens to the correctional officers? If crime just disappeared, what happens to the police? What happens to the DEA? What happens to the FBI? If everybody was just in this utopia, there will always be this block of people that will not have anything to do and be useless. So you have to kind of realize that's why I said what I said before. And this is kind of a game. This whole thing that we're doing, this system that we're living in, is some sort of a game. You have to look at it as a game, and you can't play. You can't play your cards wrong. You can't be willfully ignorant and play your cards wrong, because you can't afford it. You can't afford it. You don't want to be in those spots, and we just don't want that. So that's what I'm trying to get you guys to do. It's all game. These are politics. But I got right now Kanye West saying Black Lives Matter was always they will continue to play on the emotions, continue to get you guys to think that there's always a big bad fight. There's always somebody to fight, and you can never win. That's my problem with the whole internet blackity black thing. People really need to really pay attention to more of the character of people, instead of sticking and tethering to identity politics. It doesn't work. Identity politics does not work. It keeps you in a weak frame of mind. It keeps you in a frame of mind that will continue to put you in a position or make you feel like you're in a position that you are less than and you lack. And the people that you're fighting are always the people that are not in lack. When reality is there's way more people in the lower classes than it is in the upper classes. Everybody isn't, that doesn't look like you is not flourishing. And that's what people got to realize when your character comes more into play than that does. You said Kanye West really cares about getting attention. We all know that. That's why I wanted to put. That's why I put the thumbnail in this video, which I put in there, because this is, the beautiful lie, the beautiful lies that we're told, and we go to Kanye's 808 and Heartbreaks. I figured that was a great thing. Like I said before, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure on this live stream, make sure you hit that subscribe and share people to the channel, because this is a fairly neutral channel. I know I am partial to the guys and the men here because we are the only ones that can get us into right shape. We are the only ones that can mold each other into leaders. The women can't do that, so we can't worry about women all the time. So I am a partial to the guys. That's what I do. But make sure you do that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let people know that there is a real balance channel in here, and his name is Aaron EBM in the Thought and Talk podcast. So where we at tonight? So Kanye West only really cares about getting attention, but even the worst attention hog can stumble across a good point. Black Lives Matter was a scam from the beginning, which I also believe. I also believe it was not an organic situation or organic organization. It was an organization put together to make money, to polarize people, to cause chaos, and to make people take people's eye off the ball and to fight things they really didn't have any chance of winning. The invisible ghost. Everyone knows Black Lives Matter was a scam. Kanye said he's right. The Black Lives Matter movement was built on a lie that Michael Brown was a poor, defenseless victim of racist police officers in Ferguson, Missouri in 2015. The myth that he submitted and was shot, myth that he submitted and was shot away, hands up, don't shoot, was a lie. Physical evidence showed that Brown attacked Officer Darren Wilson and attempted to get his gun before he shot. It said Democratic politicians wanted to stoke the flames of racial division heading into the 2016 election. This is what I told you before. This is what I told you before. This is what happens. This is what they do. And this is racism is it is a touchy thing. I can't say, like I say, you'll never tell me, or you'll never get me to say that, that racism didn't happen. I'm not as radical as Jesse Lee Peterson and just say racism never existed. I can't say that. What I am saying is the time that it did exist is past, or did it not say past, the time that existed in the way it existed and has passed. We are in a new day. It is not the way we thought it was. I mean, is there always going to be some kind of idiot racist person? Of course. There was classism and racism from the beginning of time. It's the things they use to separate themselves, to make themselves feel better. And it is, that you can't get away from it. It's the human condition. If there's one thing human beings have excelled in, it's being able to off each other. I got to watch how I say harm each other, and how to separate themselves from each other. That's what they do. Humans have been doing it ever since the Roman Empire to Hiroshima. They've been doing the negative, horrible things to each other. And I don't know if that will ever not happen unless we have some kind of utopian society where we really don't have any free will anymore. You can bet your bottom dollar that it will continue to happen. Now, I have always talked about people like Jared Taylor. I won't talk about Richard Spencer because Richard Spencer is a mouthpiece. But you do have people like Jared Taylor that know that, that outright say that he's a white supremacist. He believes that he is the upper echelon and they are in power. And why would a person or group in power just willfully give away their power? I can understand that. Why would they not? But he's also said in the same breath that Asians are making more money, Asians are getting better jobs. And if he was the big bad demon, having the power that people say that that white supremacists have, why are they in the positions that they have in the first that now? It's because that money matters in the end. Money does matter. Money gets you into places that you really couldn't get into without it. And identity politics are a thing that they use to keep people out, to keep people struggling and fighting over things that they really don't, they can't control. You can't control whether somebody likes you or not. It's not against the law. It's not a part of the Bill of Rights or amendments, excuse me, that say that they can't not like a person. They can't harm you. They can't physically stop you from doing something or getting a job. But me just not being prejudiced or a person being prejudiced against me is not against the law. So you're going to have to deal with people just not liking you. Something can happen to them, and it leads them down a path that just doesn't like you. And there's nothing you can do about it, but besides not being around you. So they indulge in the fiction that Brown was some kind of victim, a martyr, by the Justice Department under Attorney General Eric Holder. The President Barack Obama confirmed that Wilson did nothing wrong. Despite being built on a lie, Black Lives Matter became the hobby horse of the Democratic politicians, celebrities, establishment, media. Whenever an unarmed Black person was shot by the police, it happens slightly less often than unarmed white people getting shot by the police, according to the Washington Post. Now, I said this. This is something, a pet peeve of mine about BLM, that I also say, I'm not one of the people that have the luxury of not at one point growing up in the hood or around people that had that hood mentality. I've been there to see it. I've been there to feel it. I've been there to smell it. Whatever sense you can use, I've been there. And what I can tell you that there was a 9 out of 10 chance that it was somebody like you doing what they were doing the stuff that really didn't need to be done, whether it was drugs, whether it was shooting, killing, stealing. It was always something like that first. Now, I cannot say that some serial killer or maniac didn't come do something to other people. Look at Jeffrey Dahmer. It happens. I can't say it doesn't happen, and I'll never take that away. But for the most part, that when something happens like they like to make you think happened, it always happens by somebody. Well, I say always, but majority happens by somebody that looks like you. And the only time that BLM came out, they didn't come out when little girls were gunned down with their parents in Chicago. They didn't come out. They only came out when they felt like some police had done somebody wrong. That's the pet peeve. We have way more to deal with than about the police. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm not saying people don't get brutalized, and I'm not saying people don't get harassed. Whatever can happen will happen. But you got to be realistic about the portions. You got to be realistic about the statistics. They say it happens slightly less often than unarmed white people getting shot by the police, according to the Washington Post shooting database. The media go out of their way to make it a national story. This is something that you also have to realize that they do. If you pay attention, if you watch cases, anytime something happened and opposite races were involved, they always make sure to romanticize it, post it everywhere to get people upset. And they know what they're doing. The media knows what they're doing. They will continue to do that because they know those identity politics are strong, and it has a hold of a lot of people. The media go out of their way to make it a national story. Sometimes they even make it a national story if a person in question was armed and dangerous. This is also true. People will jump to conclusions. They'll take a clip, on social media, run with it, and just to find out that the person was a maniac, and when he got killed, he or she put themselves in that position. That happens several times. Even events that spawned justifiable outrage were then wrapped to portray all the police officers to be racist, to insinuate that society at large is to blame for these deaths, but they aren't. Police are not racist who hunt Black people down. Like I said, you don't know everybody's intent. You can't say that wholeheartedly, but reality and statistically, you almost know that you can almost say that most people aren't like that. Now, can people be insensitive? Can people be out of touch? Yes. This is why I also say you should not. I'm going to say you should not raise your children to not be law enforcement, not be police officers, say, oh, well, police are snitch, and then turn around and then ask for more representation. If you are raising your kids not to be these people that the people that you feel like are snitches or mules for the man, if you teach all of your kids or your upcoming children to not do that, how are you going to get the reputation or the representation that you want? Where are those bodies supposed to come from? That's the thinking I want you guys to remember. Where's this stuff? Who are the bodies that are the representation? Where are they supposed to come from if you don't raise your kids up to be different? If you don't raise your kids up to look at things different, how are they going to be the people that you want to represent you if you're teaching them to do the exact opposite? Let me see. No, we right here. Black Lives Matter. Ignored by Black Lives Matter. There were thousands of Black lives that didn't matter. The activists, the Post database lists 145 unarmed Black people killed by police since 2015. Some of those unarmed cases included incidents like Mike Brown's, but unmentioned go all the Black people murdered by non-police officers every year. In 2019, for example, 7,484 Black people were murdered. Democratic politicians, activists will mourn a criminal like Mike Brown, but 7,000 Black murder victims killed by non-police just don't matter. See, and that's the thing. You think people don't see this. That's what they're banking on. People are banking on you not being able to see that. They think so little of you that they think you can just look past that, we're harming each other. We're doing everything to each other for the most part, but then let's say 100 out of the 8,000 people that were killed were only killed by those people were killed by police. The rest of the 7,300 people were killed by each other. So what makes more sense to tackle? The police incidents or are the incidents where we're doing these things to each other? So I would myself attack the 99% before I tackle that. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't be held accountable. I don't want people out there just doing whatever to each other. We don't want that.
Nope.
We don't want that at all. Well, what we want to do is be realistic. What we want to do is be smart, be wise about what we're doing, be wise about the energy that we expel upon the very nation, the very ground that we live on, and the neighborhoods that we live in. Why would I sit here and waste all that energy and time on police incidents when I have the people that look like me doing the things in these situations that I have to be in and out of every day? Now, if then of course there are, sorry about that, actual financial scams. The Washington Examiner investigations found millions in funds that went unaccounted for by Black Lives Matter organizations. California and Washington, two states run by Democrats, ordered the organization to cease all funding of BLM Global Network Foundation and took in $77 million in 2020, which went on to line the pockets of the executives and their families. The $6 million mansion in Los Angeles was necessary for racial justice. Don't you see? It always turns into a scam in some way, shape, or form. It always turns into a scam when that kind of thing is involved. See, now if people looked at you crazy, people talked about you crazy, people called you derogatory names when you said this, but then turn around and they do things like this, and then everybody's quiet. Let's see. What you got in here? Who is that? Sugar Bum? What the hell? I'm gonna read some of these chats real quick. Until they get a handle on gun control, anything can happen. It's bad as hello to worry about being killed by a thug and have to worry about the police. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look, I wrestle with this because I am pro 2A. I am Second Amendment. I am not Chuck Liddell. I am not a MMA specialist. I'm not finna go out there and fight Turbo Thugs and all the rest. I'm not gonna go out there and fight Billy, 6'6" Billy Bob. I'm not doing it. So I'm always a proponent of people protecting themselves at all times, giving themselves the best advantage, in bad situations. So I am there. Can different things be done to help better protect people, innocent people? Of course, but there needs to really be sound mind and sound judgment before they put things in place that will actually disarm everybody. And I said, look at how they do Chicago or Illinois. I believe that they're using Illinois for experimental grounds to show you what and how not to run a government. There's no place in the world that I will want to be or want to live that will tell me that I can't arm myself, but then all the criminals there can be armed. I'm not talking bad about the people in Chicago themselves. I'm talking about the people that run the government. Why would I want to be around a place that will lock me up quicker than the criminals that are trying to harm me? That's not logical. And if you look at it, that's what they're doing. They're taking all the rights away from the people that go that are there, and then letting the criminals run wild. You look at this safety act, this bill that they have to actually get away from the bail bondsman and let people just out on some of these crimes, giving the people more time to be able to harm you. These are things that more sane government officials would never do, but they are allowing this thing to happen, or these kinds of things to happen. Let me see. What do you say, Sugar Bum? I don't know why they're saying black people instead of black men. Here you go. Sugar Bum, the black women are as crazy as hell too. I just seen where that black woman killed her son for a memory card, and the black woman took her kids out and had to drown them. I mean, it don't have it's men and women. Men are violent. Women are violent in the community. It happens. I just knew you had to come in here and talk about black men. Y'all ain't off the hook. Y'all ain't off the hook either. Y'all are crazy too. Yeah, and y'all keep being with the men that are crazy and creating more crazy kids. Anyway, let's go. You are going to get it both ways. Yeah, both death. That 14-year-old boy Adam in Chicago, he tried to toss his gun to the ground and was killed. Yeah, oh man, I didn't even hear about that. Let me see what you say. Black men are come on now, Sugar Bum. Black men are a protected class. They're not calling them out. Oh God. Oh God. I can't even thank you. That's some sanity. Like the stream. If you don't like it for nothing else, you can at least like it for the comedy that Sugar Bum comes out and blesses us with week in and week out. I appreciate it. Let me see. Let me see. Patrice of BLM is one person. It does not discredit the entire organization. Anyone should give the right to protest and but not violent. I'm not supportive of BLM because it's unorganized. Anyone can show up. Yeah, and I agree that I'm not saying that people shouldn't organize. I'm saying that BLM as a whole, BLM, and it shouldn't just be as one. Yeah, I understand you saying that, but I have reason and reasonable doubt to believe that BLM was set up from the get-go to do what they did. Now, we can go into tinfoil territory with that, but I'm sure we can use that for another live stream. I don't want to give away too many of the gems, but I believe that was a setup from the beginning. You just look at who runs it, the support that they were going to get, from the get-go, and then, using the black deaths from the police. You just knew it was something fishy. That's the way I see it. I knew it was something that just wasn't ordinary, and I will never support anything like that when they don't go after the people that are killing each other all the time. You just want to go after the police. You know, I have police family members. I have police cousins, uncles, and all of that. So I can't just say I can't do that and say that that they're bad like that. I couldn't willfully do that. Let me see. Thank you, Bell. Share the stream. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. You know, if not, we're gonna have to get to the shopper. Get out of here. Get to the chopper. Let's see. Let's see. I did that just for I gave Sugar Bum the AK. I did that just because and I'm assuming you're talking about the women that we're not talking about. You know, I know how you like to focus on the men. You know, don't forget about that woman who shot that girl at the that gas station. What was that, at Atlanta? Was it over a man or something like that? Come on now. You don't want to go there tonight. Let me see. Until they fix the criminal justice system, what you expect? The current system does not fix anything. You can get sent to jail for a small time of crime and doesn't fix it. Yeah. It does not fix. I believe it does not. They don't care about fixing anything. That's why I said you have to focus. You can't focus on fixing the entire community because it's not going to happen. You know, it's too many people that are community minded. You have to fix the small pocket of yourselves and build upon that. Build with like-minded individuals, you know, upon it with their character. What's going on, AR? I appreciate it. We were just talking about a little bit of this BLM thing, talking about Kanye, you know, that's the evil genius. That's America's evil genius. Kanye is. Sugar Bum, what am I actually being disingenuous about? Okay. Oh, God. Let's be real. Women are raising the men, as AR like to say, the bastards of the world. Women are raising these men to be the exact things and the exact attack dogs that they want them to be. And when they raise these attack dogs and sick them out on the entire planet, then they turn around and say, that's not my baby. My baby wasn't raised like that. Well, in fact, you raised your men to be violent attack dogs. It's been said. It's been many women. I think what was her name? I can't remember. What is that chick's name? The woman's fear that said her sons would turn on their father for her. They would ruin their lives for her. And she is not the only woman who thinks like this. There's a lot of women in the community who think like this. They feel like the men that they have, the boys that will become men are grown males, owe everything to them, and they raise them to be the attack dogs that you're seeing in these violent cities now. Yeah, you haven't raised anyone, but I guarantee you know some of these hyenas that have raised them. You know, the very ones that say the men aren't around, but when the men try to take responsibility and actually take their kids, they won't give them to them because of those government subsidies. And I'm not talking about welfare, but we can call it welfare right now, you know, and child support is welfare. Why is child support welfare? Child support is welfare because it is government subsidized, and it's government subsidized because they pay the woman out of court, and then the man is obligated to pay the government back. Therefore, it is a government subsidy. There is plenty of men, and are plenty of men that will take their kids, but are not allowed to take their kids because this criminal justice system, like the good MY2 said, is unjust, and the criminal justice or the criminal and family court system will make sure that the woman gets that child first unless she is some sort of a crack or meth fiend. Let's see. Need to pay attention to MYC2 cent or MY2 cent. Sorry about that. Need to pay attention to this person, Sugar Bum, because they're spending some knowledge, and I appreciate people to come by the Thought and Talk podcast to talk like this. So the last CD I bought was Biggie Smalls. That was it. Kanye West, as far as I'm concerned, is canceled. Kanye does not bring anything to the table for himself or other black men. You know, Kanye is a troll. Kanye's a troll, but Kanye is a evil genius. You know, I'm not using him as some sort of moral compass. I'm just just using it because he's crazy enough to say the things that a lot of people are afraid to say. Now, he will say these things, and do I believe he believes all of them? Probably not. But I do know that a lot of the things he did, a lot of the things he said about people being slaves to merchandise and then turning around and selling them that same merchandise that he says people are slaves over, it says something about the psyche of men and women in this country, and it should be paid attention to. Studies can be done. Studies should be done. And it says a lot about the mindset. Anything could be going on, but you will often buy and do things for yourself that you really aren't in a position to do just to stay relevant. And it's interesting. It's interesting. No, they don't. No. 90%. I ain't messing with you. Sugar Boy, why you come over here and disrupt my stream? Men don't want full. Yes, they do. Men do want full custody. Men want full custody. Ask Mr. Palmer. Mr. Palmer will tell you they want full custody. But what happens when they try to get full custody? They get kicked right out. Y'all know they do. Y'all know they do. We try to call foul. We try to call foul on them, but you know what? Okay. That's what I say. You know, you think they don't. They do want custody. And the women will just say, well, you just don't want to pay child support. So what? You know, if we get 50-50 custody, or I'll take full custody, you know, I won't put you on child support. They still won't do it because most of the time they want to be spiteful or want the money. That's what they do. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Oh man, how you guys doing again? I'm gonna take a break. How you guys doing again? Thank you for coming to the Thought and Talk podcast. This is Aaron EBM. You know, it's just a wonderful day, wonderful evening, and a wonderful conversation. I appreciate you for being here. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to be here with me, and I greatly appreciate it. Okay, let me see what else I got here. I had another one. I had one about. This is another one right here. I'm sure you guys will appreciate this. Akon said loves African women because they are more submissive than American women. They know women can never be equal to men. That's what the brother Akon said. The brother Akon said that, and I found it interesting as well too. In the light of all these, you know, the passports conversations and the going overseas and finding women from different countries, I thought that was actually. It was actually good to see somebody else from another country say that, because right now it seems like there's just a bunch of men saying from America saying this about American women without a real case study or other people from other countries getting into that. Now, Akon, if you don't know who Akon is, Akon's a real African American. You know, I think he has dual citizenship here. He lived most of his life in America, but actually moved back to Africa and started businesses and doing this thing over there. Akon says that African women know women cannot be equal to men. Akon is not the only one of the big, or he's only one of the biggest names. He is also a successful businessman. We don't want to get to that. I want to go down here to the bottom. Akon said that Africa has much more beauty than when it comes to women. In addition, he said that women are also more submissive than American women. For this reason, Akon says he prefers women in Africa over women in America. At the same time, Akon said his preferences lean this way because he believes men and women are not equal, which they are not. Men and women are definitely not equal. Men and women are, I will say they're equal as human beings, but they are not equal.
Well, that's mathematically feasible.
It is. It is mathematically feasible. You can look it up. Look it up anywhere. Look it up in medical journals. You'll know that women and men are not equal. And he said, at the same time, he said that his preferences lean that way because men and women are not equal. When it comes to his belief, Akon said that African women understand the roles that women and men play better than American women. You see that? You see that right there? That's a real African American man saying that the same thing that a lot of these passport guys are saying, bros are saying. He's saying that, you know, women from overseas ought to know the true nature, God's true nature. they know God's true nature, and they know everybody knows their place. Now it's none of that scratching and clawing. It's none of that stuff that you hear that women are doing over here, but he's actually saying that they are, more submissive. Now, I'm glad he said that. I'm glad Akon said that, and to give these guys a break, because I believe in free agency. I believe in free agency for men as well as women. Women need to go out and explore your options. Go out and do the things that you want to make you happy. If you want to go out there and get Brad, go get Brad. But the one thing we don't need to do is act like there isn't something wrong or something going on with the way Western women are acting right now. What Western women are doing right now. I don't know if it was just the feminist movement, or I don't know if it was the sexual revolution, or a bit of the two. But you can obviously see that something's not right here. I don't know. Let me see. Africans off the beat. Hey, you can't be talking about Africans over here like that on my stream. I appreciate my real African bros, the ones that that actually want to be a part and not be negative. How do you know they beat their women, Sugar Bum? You don't know if they beat their women. That's just stereotypes. What he said wasn't a stereotype. What he said was the truth. Let me see. What do you say up here? He wants to have. He said he wants to have his way. That's why he wants women to be seen and not heard. Oh man, I don't know about Akon, man. Akon came real quick and disappeared real quick, And so I didn't really, Akon made his little money and like skedaddled back to Africa. So I didn't really get a chance to really know or get to know him as a person, as much as you can know the people that are, on TV and stuff as people. I don't know. Well, let me see. Did he bring up the abuse? Did he bring up the abuse African women? That he didn't bring it up because they don't face abuse. They don't believe in abuse over there. They do what they supposed to do, and they don't get abused. This isn't the 1920s, Sugar Bum. This isn't the 1920s. Let me see, man. These y'all are going ham in the comments tonight. Women and men are the same spirit. Bodies are different for a reason. Women are in mind is no different than men. What is the confusing part? To people are role. Yeah. I know women are made now. I respect women for the God-given gifts, the natural ability to nurture in times where men are made to be the hammer. Men are more like hammers and women are more like I say like a damn jigsaw. Men are blunt force objects. We're there to do that, get that stuff done, and women are there to actually console. There's a balance. There's a necessary balance that you really don't see enough of, which can contribute to a lot of the problems we have today. Y'all, let me see what Bell said. Y'all, these likes are going. Yeah, man, that's okay. It's okay. I blame Sugar Bum. Sugar Bum come through and just derail everything. They said, see, like, look, now you just getting racist, Sugar Bum. Now you getting not right. You can't be talking like that. You can't be talking like they ain't selling them girls for goats over there. Come on now. Don't do them like that. Don't do them like that. You say roles are the real issue. The Arabs don't have those let's say barcas for exactly. It's a thing. It's a thing. They know, and no disrespect to good women, but they know that women are naturally, we say this all the time, that women are naturally more emotional than men. And if you let these women out with full speed ahead and full reins, nothing comes but destruction. I mean, you can't just let them fool out. Look what this whole sexual liberation thing did. Gave the women sexual liberation. Give all the men all the poon that you want to give, the ones that you like. They turn into dogs. They dog you out because they know that you're going to give them all the free poon that they want. And then you turn around and get mad at them because y'all continue to give them the poon that they want, and then it becomes a vicious cycle. Like you can't give these guys all that stuff they want. You can't give them everything You can't give them everything that they want without any requirements, and then get upset when you can't keep them around. I tell you, I'm gonna continue to tell you, if you want things to change, lock the poon back up. You want things to change, get out the chastity belts, get out the keys, and lock it back up. Otherwise, the world is going to continue to roll like you want it to roll. You're going to continue to get your rocks off like you're getting your rocks off, which if it's your body, your choice. But you also have to remember that the guys that you're giving your poon to is going to take it, and most of them aren't going to be serious. There might be a few, but who's to say those are going to be the guys that you want to keep around? It's up to you guys. It really is up to you guys.
Nope.
Why do you want us to be slaves and made? Nobody. Why y'all making me talk about this? Look, nobody wants you to be slaves and maids. I wouldn't want most men. Now I can't say there aren't some insanely rich men that want that out of that woman. I can't say that because, like I said, whatever can happen will happen. So of course you're going to get these men or these guys that are going to say and want you guys to do that. For the most part, men don't want that. What most men want, and I'm not gonna anybody else in the chat that want to say what they want. Most men want just the cooperation. Men go out there, we paint, we change tires, we change oil, we mow the grass. We want women to feel happy, and when we were happy about doing it, we want the women to be happy about that part of it too. We don't want you to come home and say, well, I worked it just like you. I shouldn't. No, we worked, and we understand that these are the things that most women don't want to deal with, so we deal with it. The more manly, the quote unquote manly things, and we feel like we should get a little cooperation. And then I'm not even talking about all that 50-50 stuff, because I don't even believe about the 50-50 stuff. If you really want to dive into the 50-50 stuff, I believe that the 50-50 deal came around because of the get the bag culture. Now, the get the bag culture came, right? The get the bag culture, women were boss bees, right? Women were coming out saying that they can do everything. I'm strong, independent, don't need no man. They the bosses. And then you had some that will take advantage. So in order for the men to not get taken, they see the amount of divorces happening in America. They see men, getting their kids taken, hardly ever seeing their kids. The good men, I'm not going to talk about, two-tone Pookie and all them people like that. We're going to talk about the good men. The good men see that. The ones that, have some sense, they see that they don't want to deal with that. So they say, in order to protect myself, I'm going to make sure that the woman's putting in just as much as I am. That way she has just as much to lose as I do. That's where that came. That the whole trust situation is gone. The whole trust situation is gone. And this is where we're at. And this is where we're at. Let me see. I feel like, let me get some good I feel like black women, they have little to choose from. They are so afraid of being alone, because when you say no, another will say yes. Look, yeah, one can say that. But I think women in America right now, just like the boomers messed in, the Gen X's kind of messed it up for the millennials and sold us this path and this dream. Women have been, kind of sold that dream as well in the relationship category. They've been told by the Gen Xers that they can have it all. If they go to college, they can have a man that makes all this money just as much as you. He can be this, he can be that, and you can have it all, which you really can't. Yeah, at some point no one can have it. No man can have it all. No woman can have it all. It's going to be something that you forfeit. And and I'm not saying that you can't look up and get a man that meets all of those things. What happens is you sit there and wait for that man. And if you do get that man or come in contact with that man, and he's, tall, dark, and handsome, he's got the, a decent job, and we say anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000. He's got a decent job. He's in shape. Now, everybody's looking at that man as well as you. And if that man is not some sort of godly man, not even saying that man's godly, because a godly man cheat too. Godly women cheat. I'm saying that he's going to have options. That's natural. He's going to have all those options, and you're going to have to deal with the fact that there's women that look better than you. There's women that are younger than you, all kind of coming for that man. And being that, the biological imperative is for men to procreate and men for to spread their seeds on this world to really make the next generation. All this money and other stuff doesn't matter because you can't take it with you. The only thing really matters is you procreate and make your seed. Everything else is kind of a social construct. He's going to do that if he has women found. Look at Derek Jackson, the great savior of panders. Derek Jackson showed you the exact example. Big, strong, tall, dark, and handsome man. Come to find out he's slanging his thing all over town, and it's just that's what you have to deal with. And a lot of women, and if they didn't get the man that they wanted, they turned around and went and got at least somebody that was hyper in one direction. He was either hyper, he either had extreme amount of money, or he was extremely, I guess, hyper masculine, or negatively masculine into a point to like a thug type of dude. And then I made videos on that, about the lawyer that was dating a thug dude and ended up getting killed. Why would a lawyer even entertain a man that would put her in a position like that? If they can't have everything they want, they're going to go for that. They're going to go for that thing that tickles their fancy. A lot of women in the community prioritize orgasms over everything else. You hear them talk all the time. That's not me. That's not me. You hear him say that all the time. Well, if he doesn't, he's got to have good D. He's got to be tall, and he got to make $80,000. That D is usually in the top 3, and most of the time it's either in the number 1 or it's in the middle. Y'all prove if I'm not right, y'all can correct me. But 9 chances out of 10, good D is going to be right there for the number 1 spot. Women aren't afraid of dying alone. Women with children. Sugar Bun, why you keep doing this? Women are not afraid to die alone. Women with children, especially, don't fear dying. Oh, yeah, of course, because y'all got men husbands or son husbands. But that's not healthy either, because you end up raising men that you yourself wouldn't even want to date if you were in the dating market. That's not healthy either. And I know y'all say everybody dies alone. Of course, that's not the point of saying everybody dies alone. But don't you want somebody there to comfort you? Don't you want somebody there to hold your hand? And you can't hold your husband like you can hold your son and daughter. Let's be realistic. What you say? Say all these young girls pushing babies is just insane. The community doomed each other in poverty without marriage. It dooms it. Yeah, exactly. This is a problem. And this, I said I went and I actually said something that even shocked myself the other day when I said it. And I actually see it now. These Gen Zs that you're seeing are you're the 25 or 22-year-olds and up, to that certain age, that cutoff age. They are overly sexualized and under socialized, over sexualized and under socialized. They can sex, but they can't talk to each other. They can't get along. They don't have the interpersonal skills to get along. It's hard enough for the older generation to actually have those interpersonal skills. This next generation is even worse. They don't have the skills to get along. They can't do it. They won't do it. But what they can do is have sex and have babies. And then you'll hear them say that all the time. Well, I want a baby, whether I get a man or not. I'm gonna make sure that I have a baby. What kind of sense does that make? The outright disrespect, the outright the lack of the contempt that you can have for that other sex, to actually understand that that person is needed to raise a well-rounded child. And it's ridiculous that we're out here thinking like that. No, wrong. No, bum. I'm not. You're confused, but I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Women are picking those same men. Women are picking the men, or wanting the men and everything in that man. They want everything, and when they don't get everything, they go and pick the men that they know they don't or do not need to be with. They go pick the man that will either leave them or either leave them and treat them like trash. They call them the pookies, or they get the man that has everything or the man who has everything and the body, money, and gets all the attention and not give a damn about your feelings. That's where that whole emotional intelligence argument came from, because women are getting with these men that don't give a damn about whether they care about you crying or care about your emotions. Either one, because he has all the options, or two, it's because he's the hyper masculine dude that don't give a damn about your feelings and emotion. But that's the guy that turns you on. That's okay. But you just got to deal with you got to deal with what you get. You get those guys, and you're going to have to deal with him either having multiple women or him not giving a damn about how you feel. You take it. And most of the time, women get pregnant by these dudes and try to get the dude to stay, and he won't stay. And then what happens? They say, well, all y'all niggas ain't go good. You know, where all the good men went? You know, where all the good men gone? They ain't go nowhere. They over there mind their own business. It's just the men that you picked. You're now projecting what you feel about those men onto the rest of the general population. And it's not right. It's not right. Thank you, Bells. Appreciate it. I appreciate you. I appreciate you too, Bum. You're always awesome. I appreciate your interaction always. Let's see. I'm glad that you were around for centuries, seeing that they died alone. Anyway, guys, man, it's an hour and 32 minutes, man. If you guys don't have anything else in mind, the brother Kanye said what he said about BLM. The White Lives Matter thing, I'll touch on that before I leave. The White Lives Matter thing, it was just a ploy. You guys know that it was just a ploy. Kanye has this thing about when he comes up and down like a roller coaster. He goes up, stuff has happened with him, and then he gets to a point where he cools off, and then he does something else to get eyes on him. Now, not too long after I seen this stuff happen, I heard that him and his Adidas deal was rocky. So when I heard about that happening, I automatically knew this is what this is. He's trying to get people on his side, on his bandwagon to kind of help uplift them. That's what this stuff is. Kanye is Kanye. He's going to be forever Kanye. I tried to find. Yes, I like science. I heard about the Green Goblin women running around in New York beating people up in green spandex suits. But that speaks for itself. You guys don't want to hear about that. Let me see. There was. Hold on. Damn it, I didn't get it. But anyway, they slingshotted a satellite into orbit, and they were getting ready to put Lizzo in it and slingshot her up too. I think they were trying to break a record. But I don't have it in here. But anyway, man, get this stuff right. I appreciate you nonetheless. I appreciate everybody coming in here and giving your points. You made some good points. I always appreciate that. I'm about to get out of here, though. It's getting late. I need to go run. I need to go put at least 3 miles in tonight. I appreciate you guys again. Make sure that you like this video, this live stream. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Share it. We're having a good time in here. So everybody, make sure you have a good week. Stay safe out there. Make good decisions. Until next time, everybody. Peace.